This is Alex, the Beer Master. Welcome to my channel. It is Stout Sunday. Let me fix that. There we go. And got Michael on as my co-host, and as John does too when he's around. So today I'm reviewing coconut candy stout. Coconut Irish. I think it's Irish coconut potato stout. I think that's what that stands for. So it's very good, very coconutty. So we'll give that a shot. Michael?
I have a revisit of a beer that I think everybody pretty much knows. Guinness is probably the most well-known stout in the world, and this is their 5.6% extra stout, which is imported from Dublin, Ireland. And we've done this many times. The Guinness Brewery, established in 1759 and extremely well known. This is an 11.2 ounce bottle, as most of the European beers are. So you lose that 0.8 ounces to its American counterpart. But it's a macro product, but it's certainly well brewed and has done well in the past. So we will check it out once again.
All right. So I'm going to pour mine up. Like I said, I've drank this a couple times, and it's a very, very delicious beer. I don't know if you like coconut beers, Michael, but
I do. I think I mentioned the last time we got together, and you had a different one that I have actually visited, the Flying Fish Brewery.
Oh, I think you did. Yes,
it's been a while now. It's probably been 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh,
and we had a couple of flights. I was there with 2 other people. We had a couple of flights, and the beer I thought was above average. Some of it was better than others, and I think I actually bought a couple of bottles back of their. I think I bought a blueberry stout that they had at the time that was also very good. But it's Alex, it's not that far from where you live. It's outside Camden.
Wow. Maybe one day me and you could do that in the future. I would love to do that with you. Hang out with you. Maybe
always a possibility once things kind of
calm more down
a little bit.
Yeah, they're calming down now, but we want to calm it down even more the way we want to see it, the way we like it. And it's not calmed down the way we like it yet. So this is what I got. This is what it looks like. Let me pour a little bit more. I'm just been in a coconut kick lately, and I'm trying to get some more coconut beers. Eventually, I'll probably get tired of it, but that's okay. That's what that looks like. And that's that. So, Michael?
I will pour mine as well, so everybody can see what it looks like in the glass. Let's see what it's going to look like. Try it down the side, slow pour, trying to get the head to come up. Usually these type stouts give you a head, but that's a pretty good one too.
Especially if you get the Guinness stout that has the whizzy
thing. Well, the draft version is completely different than this, but this is carbon dioxide, the standard version, and my pour about a 2.5 finger head of beige and dark brown bordering on black. I don't think you can see anything through it. Maybe a little reddish haze on the bottom, but mostly very dark, and you really can't see through it. And good looking beer though.
That looks. You're trying to train yourself so you don't do the Alex the Beer Master pour.
Well, if you do a center pour on a carbon dioxide beer, what happens is you get half head, which eventually does become beer. But if you're trying to do an examination, it's harder to smell it if it's mostly head. Now this is a fairly nice head, nice and bubbly and whatever, but nice, at least it just goes up the rim of the glass. And with the nitrogen beers, you're supposed to do that center pour to get that effect. But with regular carbon dioxide down the side, it seems to be better. And you'll notice how the beer does hold that head too on the Guinness product, which means it is quality brewed, and again proves that just because a product is mass marketed by Diageo in this case, it does not automatically mean that it's not quality. So craft beer is quality, and some macro beers can be quality as well.
It all depends on who's brewing it and who took over that brewery or whoever. So that's true. That is true.
So how does is your head holding on your beer too?
Unfortunately, no. You could see a little bit of white stuff on the top, like a little slick. But I mean, it's a 10% beer. It should
As a matter of fact, for a beer that high, if it did have a bigger head, you'd be surprised.
Oh, so basically, it shouldn't have a head. Okay.
For the most part, the higher alcohol ones cannot maintain a head just based on that extra alcohol.
Wow. But it still has a little bit, but it's like lacing instead of head.
Sometimes it has a bigger head and then the head will decline.
Wow, and that's what it did. So pretty quick. So all right, well, Michael, you want to taste your beer, and then I will taste mine afterwards.
Okay, first let me get a nose on it.
All right, my friend.
Okay, so you're getting nice roasted malts as the first thing. Let's see what else. Maybe a little bit. See, it seems like roasted malts are the main nose you're getting. I guess in the background, I can smell a little bit of coffee, maybe some chocolate. It's mostly dark roasted malts, though. And you can't tell what the alcohol is like from the smell.
Unfortunately.
It smells fresh, though. Just roasted malts. Do you want me to go with my full description?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Cheers to you, Alex.
Cheers, my friend. Sorry no one's else has joined. I hope someone else will join, but we'll see. Probably not, but we'll see.
Okay. The flavor does follow the nose. You get the dark roasted malts. The background, you get, like I'm saying, you get some background coffee and chocolate, but they're not lead flavors. They're there in the background. It's certainly very drinkable and medium bodied. I guess this would be a beer for people starting out, but I think the draft version probably is safer than this to start trying. First of all, it's only 4.2% instead of 5.6. So if you're a macro drinker, you're more used to those lower alcohols. Maybe the 4.2 would be better, and it'd be even more drinkable than this. This 4 carbon dioxide beer, though, is very drinkable. Take another sip. You can't really taste the alcohol either. You're getting, like I say, the malts, getting a little bit of background hops, but they're integrated well into the beer. So it's certainly malt forward per se. And like I say, very drinkable, nice mouthfeel, medium carbonation. And again, everybody's heard of Guinness. And
True that.
And it's just a beer that everybody can also get. You can get this in gas stations, supermarkets. Your beer stores would have it as well, but it's not officially craft, and yet, like I say, macros can be successful product if they're brewed well. And this has been brewed since 1759, so they seem to know what they're doing.
So could it be borderline on craft beer?
Well, the only reason it can't be is they brew so much of it. It almost becomes, in order to be a craft beer, you have to limit the size of what you're brewing. But I guess some people could consider it the level of craft beer. It's just that it's a mass market product. I mean, we could discuss Sam Adams, which is Boston Brewing, and they're a very large company. Some people consider them craft, and some people say that they've gotten just too big. They make good products, and you have to draw your own judgment of what you think about it. I guess technically speaking, they're still craft, but they're on the edges, as they say. It depends on how what people feel. Now they took over Dogfish Head, so I guess that gave them a little bit more credibility. But remember, they took them over. Dogfish Head joined, and the owner of Dogfish Head now is on the Boston board. and we'll have to watch to see if they end up, marketing their beer more, a bigger distribution area now that they're in a bigger company.
So Dogfish Head is still owned by the two owners, but still they merge.
I think they're combined. So he's on the board of Boston Brewing, which I guess puts him into a good position. But I think it's at like one of these deals where it's owned by this conglomerate now. And this seems to be what's happening in the beer industry, that you get very few smaller craft breweries anymore. And they've either been taken over by InBev, which, is Budweiser's parent company, or Constellation, or some of the other brewers that have taken over. And it's just, it's part of business. And I think the pandemic probably has caused some smaller breweries to actually look for somebody to help them out financially, since they've lost, part of the market's been lost, because now you don't have as much, sales at the brewery, people coming into your tap room, whatever, because of the different state restrictions and local restrictions that you have. You're still selling in, stores and stuff, but you lose a little bit of your ability to get distribution when things are upset in the economy.
Right, because you got the people that want to go. Eventually, that brewery will have people in, but it all depends if that brewery is still around when the pandemic is over.
Because of the financial pressures that they're under, and we'll have to see what happens.
So we'll see what happens after the pandemic is over, and see if they ever come back or they just shut down completely, and that's that. So it all depends. So, all right. Well, as you know, it still has a little slick little head, but unfortunately it went down. And as Michael has said, most of these alcohol beers are 10, 11, 12% beers. The head stays a little bit and then it goes away quickly. So that's how that goes. So cheers, Michael.
Cheers, Alex.
And it looks nice and dark and everything. I can't wait. Well, the first thing you taste is chocolate, coconut. Good stuff. I love this stuff. And there's no coffee smell to it or anything, just coconut and chocolate.
How's the alcohol level?
All right, let's see here. All right. You could taste just a little bit of alcohol, but most of it's coconut chocolate. That's what you want. If you do not want alcohol, you want to make sure it tastes mostly chocolate and coconut. But if you want alcohol, try to find some beers with alcohol in it. That's more strong if you want the taste of alcohol. But I like the taste of sweet stuff like coconut and chocolate. I don't know why they call it an Irish candy. Potato stout, not sweet potato, Irish potato stout, candy Irish. I don't know, because it doesn't taste like an Irish potato. But it's very good. I'm going to get it again. I gave some people at my work this beer. I had to get another pack because that's how good it was.
It's possible that the recipe that they originally made it with might have something to do with Irish potatoes, maybe. Or, if you look at history, there was a potato famine in the 19th century, and a lot of Irish people came to the United States because starvation was so bad in Ireland. And there were very few potatoes that were left, a very bad season of potatoes, and that was their main food source. And I don't know, it could be just a recipe, and for all you know, maybe there might be some potatoes in this recipe that they're doing. I have no idea, but you'd have to ask the people at Flying Fish what the tie-in is with the potatoes. And certainly coconut and chocolate are two good flavors for beer.
Yeah, and coconut is inside that potato, so they're making it right that way. So when you it's because an Irish potato is with cinnamon and stuff like that. You can make actual potatoes you can make real potatoes and make them turn into Irish potatoes, candy potatoes, which is freaking cool. I can't believe that, but That's freaking amazing.
It's possible that's the recipe they may have used when they started making the beer, and that's why they kept the symbols on their beer.
Cans.
And what about the mouthfeel? What's the mouthfeel like?
Kind of a little bit of light and a little bit of thickness. That's what I like. I like a thickness beer because it means to me, it's a stout. So it has that thickness, slight thickness on it. So it should, because it's a stout, like I said, because on the bottom there, that's what it says. Stout. So expect that. It's not a Guinness, let's say that. It's sure not. What's that?
If you figure out the difference in the alcohol, yours is almost twice as strong as mine. If you double mine, it would be 11.2. Yours is just a little below that. So it's much stronger alcohol-wise, and I'm sure it has more substance than mine does too, just because when you get into the higher alcohol ones, even if you can't taste the alcohol, it still has to have a substance to it.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. It's good to drink a beer with you, Michael. I enjoy doing this. So yeah, that mouthfeel, that creaminess, at least in my book, is very tasty. Again, I love the coconut. Love it.
I was going to say too that John really likes coconut as well.
That's good. That is good because then maybe me and him could do some coconut beers. Those coconut beers are so good.
I think Robert the Whiskey Scout likes coconut beers too. So it seems like in our group there are several people who really do get into coconut beers.
And same with you, Michael. You said you somewhat like
it. I've had several. I won't say that I've had a lot. I've had several during the course of my beer drinking. I see there are people on the chat, which is nice, who've actually shown up to say hi to us, and that's a nice thing in the morning to have fans on with you. Drunken One and Ronald Sutton, Burley Sullivan, and Jeremy Vincent.
Yes, we got Jeremy Vincent. Anybody else has a stout, you can jump on in. The link is in International Beer Guild. If anybody has a stout, that's all. I know I'm shocked that no one else has joined, because when John is doing this stuff, everybody's joining. It stays till like 11 o'clock in the morning. Oh, let's see here.
Shane's there. Shane says hello.
How you doing? How you doing, Shane? Jump on in if you want. It's up to you. I know you got plenty delicious.
Sometimes people don't have stouts in advance. I know Jeremy wanted to join a couple of weeks ago and just didn't have a stout. And then he joined once with that Hershey stout that he had, but he hadn't been getting to Little Rock to his bottle store in order to buy more stouts. Now, Shane has a whole collection of stouts, so maybe he doesn't have stuff chilled right now.
Yeah, maybe he don't. You're correct on that. Maybe it's a possibility. What's that say? Cheers, Michael and Alex.
That's Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy. Stuff is good. I can't believe this series. We got a Rontario.
Hey, Jay. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. You're doing Stout Sunday number 2 tonight. That's awesome, my friend.
Enjoy your baseball game.
Yes, enjoy. I think that's what other than that, I think. Oh, let's see what else he said.
He's had a sweet potato stout, he says, from Mississippi. That would be interesting too.
Awesome beans. Yeah, sweet potato stouts. I don't know if I ever had. I had sweet potato beers, but I never had a sweet potato stout. I'll have to look.
I don't think I've ever had a sweet potato stout either.
Yeah, I've had sweet potato beer before, but not a sweet potato stout. I don't think it was a stout.
Now, if you look at the way, and I guess you could see it on the side of the glass, the lighting is not great. You're getting really nice lacing. On the side of this, and it's holding up really well. And the head retention is really good. And if you swish it, you see how the head keeps coming back?
That's what you want, though.
It's a sign of a well-crafted beer. And we can discuss the difference between macros and craft. It's not craft beers are craft beers. Macro beers can be well brewed. And I'll be the first to tell you that.
Well, you gotta remember, Michael, you've been drinking beer years before I started drinking beer and before I even met you.
I'm much older and more experienced too. So I mean, I've been doing it for a really long time. And
yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
It's a good thing. It's funny now. Guinness, not this style of Guinness. It's more the draft style. Was one of the first beers that I had after the main group of your Millers and your Budweisers and the other macros that I first started drinking. But it was always a really cool thing to go to once I was 18, because the drinking age was 18 when I started drinking.
Right. Then they moved up to 21. Yeah.
Go to a local bar in New York where they would pour a draft Guinness and watch them pour it. And it's really a thing of beauty to watch a really professional pour of Guinness, because it cascades up the side and the head centers out, and that's it's a nitrogenous beer, so you just watch the whole thing come together, and it's the nitrogen makes the beer much smoother, but this, which is carbon dioxide, is really quite good as well.
Now, does all the beers have carbon dioxide in them, or not? I'm talking about like stouts and stuff, or do you think mine has it as well? Let me know on that.
I pretty much feel that every beer that's not nitrogenous, using nitrogen as its source, has to be carbon dioxide, because that's the only way that beers are made. So whether it's in a bottle or in a can, it's going to be carbon dioxide.
Unless you have nitrogen in it.
Unless it's nitrogen, that's going to be your source of carbonation.
Right. And that makes the creaminess too.
Right. And sometimes they add lactose and milk sugar, which makes it even creamier.
Which I love.
It's different, but it's definitely makes it smooth.
Oh, it's very good. I mean, I don't know if you can. I mean, obviously you've had flying fish. Try to get this beer and let me know how it tastes. I mean, I want your opinion if you can get it.
I would have to. I'll look in the co-op to see if they have flying fish. I to my knowledge, I've never seen it, but it is possible it's there. I'll look for it. It's local in that it's only a couple of hours away from where I live. The problem is, I wonder how far their distribution comes out of New Jersey, because it seems it's a smaller brewery, and it could just be Jersey and maybe northern Philadelphia, that Metro Philly area that's nearby. They may be able to get it there too. Did you find this in your local store? Where did you find this beer?
I found it at Canals, and I also found it in my local store on Main Street here. So I found it at Canals, which is the big, series of stores. I think you've heard of Canals. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
I've heard of it.
Okay, there you go. So Canals is like a big they're kind of like a warehouse stores that you get a whole bunch of beer. So my first hanging out with this beer, which was a couple of weeks ago, was at Canals. The second time is when I went to a store on Main Street here, and I had to get one pack. I got the original pack, and then I went back to work, and some of my friends wanted to try it, so I gave my boss one. I gave one of my other friends one. I said to myself, I'm gonna go get another pack because this beer is too good just to have two beers left. So,
if you like the coconut and you like the chocolate combination, this looks like a good beer to tell your friends about, because if they like the same style, they should pick it up.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, though, I don't think Flying Fish comes up this far north, but I will look, and maybe I can find it.
I wonder if you can order it if you can't find it. I wonder. I
have to check with the brewery and see if they're willing to ship the beer. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. I sent out some information, and I think I may have sent it to you as well. They had this thing on sour beers through Untapped, and they were doing some kind of deal where you could buy 12 sour beers, and it's weird because some states do not allow you to ship to them, like North Carolina and Kansas and Georgia do not allow alcohol to be shipped across state lines into them.
You realize they sometimes will still ship. I don't understand how they would do that, even if they know that it could be someone against the law. I guess they figure, oh, it's just beer. They're not going to do anything because most likely they don't. But if they did obviously note it. But like for instance, Brandon, he got a beer package from a brewery from Canada. They're not supposed to ship, and it had the brewery's name and everything on it. So if you're shipping it, you would have seen the names. So obviously, they don't care.
Well, if it gets underneath I guess the government
This was a year ago
of it, I guess you can get away with it. It seems like with the ones that I've seen from these different, there was one with the Brewers Guild, there was one with Untapped, there was one with Beer Advocate. It seems with these, they're more careful because I think what they'd be risking if they got caught is some type of government sanction where they could stop them from shipping to other states, and they probably don't want to take the chance, and that's why they follow it. But like you say, if it gets under the radar, I guess stuff does slip.
I just don't know how they do it because it's right in front of their face. It has the brewery's name all over the box.
Jeremy, let me tell Jeremy where John is today. John is in Alabama. It's his father's birthday, so he's.
I didn't want to tell everybody his personal stuff. That's why I never said anything last night.
John says we could tell the group he has regular followers who come on to watch. He'll be back next Sunday on his regular spot, and I understand family obligations. It's funny, today is my daughter's 32nd birthday.
Oh, happy! I thought John said he wasn't sure if he's going to be back next Sunday. I'll have to talk to him. He's confused.
I think he's planning on being back from what he said to me, but stuff changes. I understand, and we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah. So if it does, I might be doing the Stout Sunday next week. But as of Michael has just said, as of this moment, John is coming back. So regardless, he'll let us know during the week like he did before.
He's planning on working tomorrow, so he's coming back. This was just a weekend thing, and he'll be back. And
I think he's coming back today,
or maybe even later today. And we have our regular stuff coming up this week. Tomorrow on Malty Monday is going to be Belgian style Vits. And I see you're
this kind of beer.
I see you're prepared. I still have to go out and find one.
Yeah.
So I think I can get one in my corner store.
Well, Michael, buddy, if you can't find,
you can get it. I can
get this beer if you can't find it. Special.
I think I can get Shock Top as well, which is another Belgian style beer from one of the other micro brews. I've had Belgian wits from Belgium as well through the years too. But I just don't have any right now in my collection of beers that I have. We got some other people on. Mittelfrau is on.
You got it. I'm very happy. Everybody, thank you for joining Stout Sunday. I still need to drink my whole glass here. I know Michael might have to go and hang out with his wife in the next 10 or 15 minutes. It depends on if she wakes up pretty quickly. But it is what it is. I'm sorry, Michael.
It's okay. And this Wednesday also, we should mention, Ron just mentioned it, it's going to be any Bock beer. It can be a Spring Bock. It can be a Doppelbock. Any Bock beer on Wednesday night on what used to be Wild Card Wednesday. Now it's turned into Theme Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But it has a theme every week, and you can get that on the internet from Jay Terrio. So that'll be this Wednesday.
I'll try to get a double Bock tomorrow at work after I get home from work because I have a liquor store right next door. So,
and Beer Man on Tuesday does cheese and beer at 8:00 as well, and you do Food Friday as well. So I mean, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. And Michael, you can join Food Friday anytime, my brother. I mean, you join.
It's possible. It's funny now. I have limited time because we do a lot of stuff here, and it's funny now. I'm working on my taxes too, so that's going to be
that's understandable.
All right. But that'll be done. That'll be done quickly, I hope. But I do that myself, and I know a lot of people go to their accountant to have it done. I I use software on the internet and I do it myself, and I'm gonna have to start working on that. I got a month to do it, so it gives me plenty of time.
Awesome beans.
Jeremy's telling you not to baby your beer, to drink up.
Well, I mean, if you want me drunk,
No,
I could just go.
Alex, do not chug that. It's
No, I'm not. I'm just joking. I'm not.
definitely a sipping beer, and there's a difference between that and what I'm drinking. 5.6, you can drink much faster.
Yeah, you could drink. You could drink these kind of beers quick if you want, because they're not freaking 10 or 11%.
They're lower alcohol, and it's much different. When you get into the higher range, they become sippers just because you're drinking for the quality of the beer. You're not drinking to get smashed. You're drinking.
Right. You don't drink craft. Let me make this clear. You don't drink craft beer to sit and get drunk off of. You drink, I don't care what it is, it's a stout or whatever. You drink craft beer to enjoy the beer. Now, if you want to chug a beer or something like that, grab a beer like this, even though it is a delicious beer. I'm just saying, if you want chugging, do this beer. Or any beer that's lower than stouts or stronger or not a craft beer at all. Because this is a craft beer, but it's not a craft beer like this one. So
Right.
anything that, so there you go.
You're drinking a beer like that, and you're savoring it and enjoying it, and that's why you're sipping on it, and you want those, those nice coconut and chocolate flavors to go on, and you're enjoying it. You're not looking to chug it. It doesn't follow. It's just not the
It's not the beer to do it with. That's what I'm saying.
But some people chug, and it has its place, but it's not in higher alcohol beers.
Unless you want to get sick, chug a beer. I mean, I told you, if you want to chug beer, you need to just do lower alcohol beers and not a stronger beer, because all you're going to get is sickness. And that's not what I want. Thank you very much. And it gets you drunk faster, and I don't do that.
Middle Frau is going to be brewing a Maybach, which is an early spring beer for
nice
in the next couple of months, is what he's saying, which is nice. That won't be ready for this Wednesday though, but it'll be ready soon, I'm sure.
Well, you said the next couple of months,
right? It'll be ready for the mid-spring, I guess, is when whatever.
Mid-spring, mid-summer, one of those two things. True that.
But I like Bach beer. Tends to be an interesting style to check into for sure.
So tomorrow, not tomorrow, Multi-Monday, I'm not going off air because I'm still drinking beer, but Monday we're doing Multi-Monday, and don't forget, just bring these kind of beers or any beer that's similar to what you just said, Michael, the
Belgian style Vit or Belgian Vit wheat beers. Yeah. And that's what Multi Monday will be tomorrow.
Yes, true that. And I still need to give our ratings.
I always enjoy Guinness, and it's a beer which it's been around for, like I say, a long time, and very famous beer and whatever. You can always go back to it, and it's consistently good.
And they also have other crafter beers. More crafter beers as well, I believe. I drank Over the Moon. That was a good beer, not the greatest, but you see, I like the creamy version of Guinness beers.
So you're more into the draft version. You like better.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Michael, but you like that kind of stuff somewhat too.
I like the draft one too. I like both of them. It's funny now. They have this brewery now in the United States outside in Baltimore. That's where Over the Moon came from, and they have an imperial stout and a gingerbread stout that came out of there. The distribution, which you'd think would be really good, is just I won't say it doesn't come into my area. It does, but they really have not pushed large amounts of it into my market. And I'm not going all over the place looking, but I do go to my food co-op, which does have some Guinness products. And I go to local supermarkets and I look around, and you don't see a lot of the stuff that's brewed in the United States. We get the draft and the Guinness that I'm having today, You can get the foreign stout as well that they brew. You can get that here. But I haven't seen a lot of the stuff that's being brewed in Baltimore here. Now, I guess if you made a New York City is so large, you can find it. It's just that
it's just not in your area. At least you don't.
I haven't seen it, and it's something that I would try because I do like the company. So I would give those beers a shot, but we'll have to see.
Now, just to tell you this, gingerbread. There was a gingerbread beer maybe a month ago, which was in February, and that was after Christmas. But I wanted to go to Total Wine and never got a chance to get it. It was gone. I wanted to try it. It had nothing to do with Guinness, but it was a gingerbread beer, and I saw it. I'm like, wait a minute. This was after Christmas. This was in January, end of January or February. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you putting gingerbread beers out again? I guess because that gingerbread beer wasn't out at that moment, or they ran out and they figured, wait a minute, we have this one more batch, and they probably send it out. And I never got a chance to try it, but I'm hoping this year, at the end of this year, I better try some gingerbread beers. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Michael.
I think Jay reviewed the one from Baltimore, their Imperial Stout that was brewed with gingerbread, either last week or the week before, and on John's show when John was hosting, and he liked it. He thought it was a good product and gave it an A rating and thought it was really good. I'd like to try some of the stuff from Baltimore, and I definitely would give it a shot.
You should be able to get Baltimore beers because.
Well, it depends where it comes. Now, like I say, my local supermarket just has the standard Guinness stuff. It has this and it has the draft version, and that's all they have. The food co-op has the foreign stout as well, which I can get, and it has these other ones as well.
The foreign stout, isn't that with the yellow label? I think, or that's the double foreign stout, maybe. I don't remember.
I have one in the refrigerator over there.
Okay.
I do own a foreign stout. If I'm not mistaken, maybe an orange label, maybe.
It might be an orange. Yeah. One of those two.
That's another couple of percentages of alcohol. I think it's 7.5%. It's a little bit stronger in its format, and the balance of the beer is a little bit stronger, but it's also a quality product, which I've had several times as well. I've had that on this show as well, but it's also very drinkable too, and I like Guinness. I'd like to try some of the flying fish stuff if I could find it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe I don't know, man.
I will look for it if it does have distribution in New York. I will look for it. And there's also a big difference, Alex, in New Jersey too, because you're in southern New Jersey.
Yes, you got it.
The northern New Jersey market tends to be more similar to the New York market because it's so close geographically, and yet because you're separated by tunnels and bridges, if you're driving back and forth, it gets to be a big expense coming back and forth because you're talking about some of the bridges are like $12 and $13 to go across, which it's expensive.
I mean, but Michael, I mean, I'm really, like I said, you have been to New Jersey to drink the flying fish beers. I'm really hoping this year or next year, hoping me and you will be hanging out. That's why I say this year or next year, because we got to see what happens with the pandemic. It is calming down, but like I told you before, it is not calming down the way I like it to calm down yet. I think
the vaccines ultimately, I think, will help and get a little bit more toward this herd immunity thing where most people are vaccinated, and then we'll feel more secure that the hopeful virus will start, fading, and things will get back to the way they were before, is what we would hope. Only time will tell, and I'm certainly optimistic about it.
I think it will, because let's talk about this is Stout Sunday. I don't want to get political. But 1917 to 19, is it? Yeah, because it started in 17, but it really didn't get banned until like 1918 to 1919 and 1920. I think 1920 is when it kind of slowed down and dropped. So, and that was 2 years.
Right.
I believe. So, because like I said, it started in 2019. It's a year now.
Yep, it's a full year already.
So we got 2021. And we got 2022. So, but by that point, because we had the vaccines, it might be even quicker, but it's still 2 years. So, We can't see them.
Just have to ride it out and see what happens, and
Because that's what everybody else did 100 years ago. They wrote it out and it was gone.
and that's what we have to hope happens this time too.
But like I said, they didn't have vaccines to help out.
That's true. So Alex, what's the food on Food Friday this week? Do you have one?
Well, Food Friday is, even though we didn't do our ratings, but I'm not in a rush to do it anyway, because I'm enjoying this beer. Food Friday is, we're doing sandwiches, but it's not just any sandwich. It's we're doing a Reuben, not Cuban, Reuben, a Reuben sandwich.
Okay, so that's corned beef and cheese, right? That's a Reuben.
I believe so. Reuben sandwiches. Yep.
Got it.
I don't know if you're going to join, Michael, but I guess you are. I'm assuming. But if you join, that'll be nice.
If I can, I will. I'm trying. Like I said, I'm be working on my taxes. I might be busy, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, what time are you gonna start your taxes? Because my thing starts at 8, but then again, you might be done.
I'm not specifically working on Friday. I'm going to probably start earlier in the week, but I don't do it all at once, and then I just try to get it ready to go so that I can just pay, because we always end up paying. I don't get a refund. We end up paying.
You should get a refund. I feel like I'm confused. Again, this is political again. Because Stout Sunday's not supposed to be political. It's not very political. I'm just asking that I always thought that taxes after you send a certain amount, you get a little bit amount money back. I thought. Maybe I'm wrong, but
it varies according to the people. The reason that we don't get a refund is we have a tenant. So
okay.
When you make income from a tenant, you have to pay tax on it. It's not the same when you're working a job. The federal government is taking money out of your weekly paycheck. Here, when you're getting the tenant's rent check every month, you're not paying any taxes until the next year when you put them in. So in other words, in 2021, you do your 2020 taxes and you have to pay tax on that income. And that's why we pay tax.
I didn't know that, Michael. Obviously, that was a little bit personal, but like I said, I didn't know. I thought it was just you and your wife living there.
No, we have
someone else.
Tenant on the top. We have a tenant on the top floor, which is a good thing because it helps when you're paying off a mortgage and income. And obviously, you're responsible for the property, and if anything goes wrong in that apartment, you have to fix it too. So there's pluses.
True that. So basically, you own the house. You own the house, but the whole house, but the tenant's upstairs. Okay, all right.
It's on the top floor, and we have the rest of the house. And it's a tall house, but it's not very wide. It's in what in New York it's called a brownstone. That's the material it's made of. It's a brick house, but made of brownstone.
Did you always have a tenant, or you always had the house to yourself?
We've had different tenants. We've had this tenant for almost 2 years. We had another tenant before for 20 years. So we've been in the property since '84.
Oh, okay. Way before I was even born yet. Okay. All right.
5 years before my daughter was born. My daughter turns 32 today, as a matter of fact.
Well, happy birthday. I don't know
her name is Bryce. It's a female.
Bryce. So happy birthday, Bryce. If you're watching, probably not, but your dad could show you the clip.
Her fiance watches the show. His name is Chris. He's actually been on one.
I've seen him before. He sat next to you a little bit ago.
One Wild Card Wednesday in 2019. So it shows you it's already a year ago that he was on almost 2 years ago that he was on one Wild Card Wednesday, which was, it's a lot of fun. You got other people involved and makes life more interesting.
Yeah, he sat right next to you. I remember.
That was almost a couple of years ago, and shows you how fast things happen. And are you arriving at a score for your beer?
Well, I am. I'm sorry, Michael. I know you want to get out of here.
We have to think about it.
That's true. I'm going to give this beer a 90. It's a good beer. Again, Michael, I really hope you can try it. I would like to see you drink this on a Stout Sunday or whatever, and I want to see what you think of it. It is a little dry. I can tell you that. It is a little dry once you drink it. But then again, it's all stouts. That happens. But it's very enjoyable, especially when you love coconut.
Sounds like a good A- rating, which is a nice rating for sure.
And it has great lacing too, like you said.
Well, I have, as you see, what I have left. I have a sip left.
Well, I wasn't rushing it. You told me not to rush.
Alex, 10.3. You're better off sipping it than you are guzzling it. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, the lacing is still at the bottom. You can see it, and it's holding up pretty well. I'm gonna, as far as this goes, and I tend to rate Guinness well. Anyway, this is an A beer. I'm gonna give it a 93, and I think I like the foreign stout a little bit more, but this is quite good, and I highly recommend it to somebody who'd like to try, like I say, a carbon dioxide Irish stout. And if you want that nitrogenous effect, get the Guinness Draft, which you can get in both bottles and cans.
That's the one you have, I believe.
I
Not the one you
have
have.
carbon dioxide one here, but you can get the one in bottles or cans, the draft version as well. And ooh, the phone. 1 second, Alex.
Go ahead and pause yourself. Go ahead and mute yourself so you don't.
Hey, Bryce. Happy birthday.
So, guys, Michael will be back. His daughter called, and I'll be back to drink the rest of the beer, and then I'm gonna hear his rating, and then I'm gonna drink the rest of mine, and I'm gonna sign off once he says his rating when he's done. So that's all. Jeremy, I mean, you could join on the panel if you want. Just to hang out. Oh yeah, I didn't give it 100. I know, but don't worry. Still a good beer. I can't give every beer 100. That wouldn't be good. Michael, can't hear you if you're talking.
I am back.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to meet yourself because I knew it was kind of your daughter calling you. Obviously, you said happy birthday before you signed off.
Happy birthday. And I said I'd call her back after we're finished. So I'm going to take my last sip. So you gave yours a 90. I gave mine a 93. Both really good beers. And I think it's been a successful Stout Sunday, even though it's just been the two of us.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought maybe other people would join, but we'll see what happens next week. But I think Johnny Boy will be joining next week. So we'll see what happens. We will know by next week, in the next couple of days, if I'm going to be hosting again. If not, he'll be back.
We definitely appreciate you sitting in.
Well, no, I enjoy doing it. I really do. And Johnny Boy ball busts me. He said, "Oh, you're excited to do Stout Sunday, but you don't join." I do. It's just I don't know. It's just
He appreciates you sitting in for him, and I know there've been times when remember when Jay was supposed to come on, and then he was off for a while, and then he came. Well, I guess that was actually John, not Jay. He overslept, and then you were there as backup in case he didn't come on, but then he did come on.
Yeah, I didn't. But I didn't set it up. I didn't set it up at the time because I thought maybe because by that point he was already setting it up. So I'm not gonna set things up if it's not gonna.
For sure.
Yeah. So.
Shall we wrap things up?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, chat. And like I said, I will let you know if I'm going to be hosting next Sunday. As of right now, Johnny Boy will be hosting next Sunday. Until then, I will see you all there next Sunday, regardless. Thanks
again for hosting.
Anytime, Michael, anytime. This is Alex Beermaster, and I'll see you all in the next live stream, next video. Don't forget, it's Food Friday. What's it called again? Reuben, not Cuban. Reuben sandwich. So, and whatever beer you want to bring. So this is Alex Beermaster signing out. Thanks, chat, for joining.